let me give you a quick lore recap. So yesterday, there was the big Microsoft event. And as you know, everything in technology is about AI. If you've seen all the little funny YouTube videos of like them super splicing people saying AI together, is that. And basically what Microsoft said is we're gonna have a computer, and the computer is gonna take screenshots of your screen every 3 seconds. And obviously a lot of people wrote headlines about this because it's like a privacy nightmare, right? We'll watch the video and then I'll talk about it. Because a lot of people are very, very mad. I'm not that mad. We'll talk about it.
You know, on the Mac, we are going to outperform them.
So you feel like you've got Apple now?
We have a computer for people who love Windows that they can be very, very proud of.
Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella is very excited about his new Windows computers. Because they're not just any Windows computers.
Can we call them AI pewters?
No, I like Copilot Plus PCs.
Yes, these Copilot Plus PCs, coming from Microsoft itself and others like Lenovo and Dell, have been completely re-engineered for
AI.
Yes. That's what I mean. It's like literally any tech CEO nowadays, AI.
As a new input.
But what even is an AI computer? Microsoft's latest have new chips and AI software that can do some cool tricks without even needing to connect to the internet. After talking to Nadella and seeing the new Surface devices in action, I'll say it looks pretty darn promising.
Here's the interesting thing, right? Which is if you sort of take all of what we've been talking about with AI, it all came about because of abundance of compute.
Yeah, the funny thing is, like, all these companies are building such big like data centers now that apparently the U.S. power grid is running out of energy. Like, I know that Sam Altman is investing in fusion. Fusion is like, you know, creating a sun, like a reactor. It's in One Piece, the thing that Vegapunk is building. We literally need energy to run these things now. It's so funny to me.
All primarily in the cloud, right? So that's what created the GPT-4, for example, which essentially changed the world. Now, what happened in the cloud is going to come to the edge. And the edge that first needs to be reinvented before we talk about everything else is the PC. And so that's sort of what I think of as the AI PC or the Copilot.
Edge compute, by the way, is when stuff is done on the PC and on the cloud, but not entirely on the cloud, so it's like split between them.
Plus PCs.
Okay, translation for non-computer scientists. ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, those other generative AI tools you've been using, the processing happens in the cloud, aka some data center. Now, some AI processing will happen right on your computer, what is called—
Which is how it should be. Anything that's run locally, I'm immediately on board with. Anything that's running on the cloud, you shouldn't be giving it anything that could even remotely be close to being like confidential, personal, anything.
Called edge computing. To do this, Microsoft had to add a new chip component.
Pretend I'm not a computer nerd. What is an NPU?
It's a neural processing unit. If you want to build any AI application, you have to have an accelerator, just like we have in the cloud, to be able to run these matrix math multiplications fast in order to drive AI features. And that's what the NPU does.
The NPU joins the CPU and the GPU in the Copilot Plus.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about this. This is probably going to be like the next big thing. Because I think like the next iPhone's obviously also going to have a dedicated chip to like purely AI. Because they're like also in a partnership with, I think, OpenAI?
PCs. But here's the really exciting thing.
Qualcomm's got a new processor, which we've...
Because the big thing with this is also latency. If it's running on device, there is no latency, right? If you're running it on a cloud, well, if you have a very good internet connection, you're good. But if you're on like Wi-Fi in the middle of a store, it's probably going to be pretty bad.
Windows 4. The battery life, I've been using it now. I mean, it's 22 hours of continuous video playback.
These Qualcomm Snapdragon X series chips are based on ARM architecture. And here's another translation. These energy-efficient chips are more like the ones in your smartphone than the Intel chips in your Windows laptop. A few years ago, Apple transitioned all its Macs from Intel chips
to our own Apple Silicon.
Those chips are based on ARM, and it made MacBooks really awesome.
We finally feel...
Also really, really, really expensive.
We have a very competitive product between Surface Pro and the Surface laptops. We have essentially the best specs when it comes to ARM-based silicon and performance or the NPU performance.
Microsoft says the new Surfaces are 58% faster than the MacBook Air with M3 and has 20% long.
The problem with all these statistics is that like When people see an Apple computer, unfortunately, a lot of people are just like, oh my god, you have a MacBook? It's like, it doesn't matter that it's, you know, like an old one or whatever. It's like a status symbol.
Longer battery life.
It's
Intel will
goofy.
make Copilot PCs, but this is a move away from that once tight relationship.
Which system do you use?
I use a Surface laptop.
Have you heard the fan go on?
No.
See, this is what I'm really hoping for. A window.
I'm gonna go on a quick tangent. There was a very awkward incident in my lecture. So basically the lecture was like, it was like 5 minutes until the end of the lecture, right? So I was like, okay, we're not gonna take any more notes. I'm not gonna have to type anything out. I'm just gonna update my laptop real quick. You know, while we're finishing up, it's gonna be fine. I click update, and my freaking laptop sounds like a jet engine is about to take off. And like every 3 seconds or so, the lecturer just looks me in the eyes, and he's clearly like, what's going on? Is everything all right? And my PC is literally about to just lift off. It was so loud, and the entire classroom is like dead silent. It was so, oh my god, I was so embarrassed. It was so bad.
Windows PC that doesn't sound like it's going to outer space. You think we've
you
got it?
have it. You got it.
Okay, but what new AI powers does the NPU
So bad.
unlock in Windows?
One of the dreams we've always had is, how do we introduce memory, right? Photographic memory into what you do on the PC. And now we have it. So it's called recall. It's not keyword search, right? It's semantic search over all your history. And it's not just about any document. We can recreate moments from the past, essentially.
Here's how it works. Windows constantly takes screenshots of what's on your screen, then uses a generative AI model right on the device, along with the NPU.
So this is obviously what people got mad about. I think, how much are they worth? $3 trillion? Whatever. A giant tech company is going to be taking screenshots of your computer constantly. Seems pretty safe, right? I think there's more to it.
To process all that data and make it searchable, even photos. I got to try it out. I searched
Brown leather bag. It came up in visual search. There's no place on this page that it says brown leather bag.
Which, by the way, this, if I could plug this into my PC literally today, I would pay good money to do that. Because when you're editing videos, for example, and you need to find a specific picture, a specific asset, I've made 50 Attack on Titan videos. I think it's actually less than that because I'm on episode 50, but it's like 40 something. The same amount of The Walking Dead videos, the same amount of One Piece videos. Everything is scattered around my folders. But even if I know what I'm looking for, because I have this, I have a plugin for this. You can like double tap control and it opens up a much better search than the Windows search, right? But even that, I need to know the title. If I could search my computer for just things, I'd already be on board with this. I think this is great tech, and I think this is one of those things. If you show someone in the store, you can search things on your computer. Most people don't see the value in this, but for me, everything would change. It would be life-changing. I could speed up my workflow insanely. It'd be so good.
Bag. It just knows because it sees this brown leather bag. There could be this reaction from some people that
It's
this
so
is
good.
pretty creepy. Microsoft
It
is
is.
taking screenshots of everything I do.
Yeah, I mean, that's why that it can only do it on the edge, right?
Yeah, and this is what I thought. So it's not actually going into the cloud. That's why they have the dedicated AI chip. Nothing is being sent to them, presumably. The only thing that I'm worried about is that there's still some sort of clause where they can use like your usage patterns or something like that for like training data. And that's when it gets really sketchy. But if it's running totally locally, then this is great. I love this. And this is not the best part. I think there's more.
You know, you have to put two things together. This is my computer. This is my recall, and it's all being done locally, right? So that's the promise. So that's
Yes.
one of the reasons why recall works as a magical thing, because I can trust it, that it is on my computer.
You can also restrict recall from taking screenshots of certain websites or apps, or turn it off entirely.
And it seems to me this whole
Good. Good. This is all good. It should automatically be off by default, and it should ask you to turn it on. It shouldn't be on by default.
next wave of AI computing is going to be built somewhat around trust. If we're going to have AI agents that go out and do things for us, why?
This is already the case. There are already being studies done about like trusting AI doctors, trusting AI pictures, and everything like that. When people are presented with like completely blind tests, most people prefer AI, and that is slightly depressing. Slightly depressing. It's only when they know they're talking to an AI that they actually get like distrustful and rate it lower. So I think that's basically what a lot of it is going to be based on. Actually proving the consumer that it brings them value and that it's good. Because I think like with doctors it's going to be the biggest thing. Because like if you think about very complex surgeries, most people are fine with a robot doing it because in your brain, a robot is more precise than a human, therefore it's very good. Right? But there hasn't been that connection between like AI doing it and the person doing it. And I think it's going to be like one of those bridges that we need to cross relatively soon.
Why should people trust Microsoft over another company?
I think we're at the very early stages of understanding how our relationship with AI agents should be shaped by us primarily, because that's the only way to build trust. If somebody else, this is not a vendor decision, it's a personal, maybe even spiritual decision of how we want to. And that's why I don't believe there's just going to be one, right? Because I may have multiple agents that I may want to delegate different types of things to.
There's another AI feature called Co-Creator that runs locally, right on the device.
How do we really take good old paint and say, hey, I'm not just painting myself, but I'm able to co-create.
I wish they didn't show these things. Like, literally, who cares?
With an AI.
You put in a text prompt.
A Windows XP wallpaper.
It's cool, but like of all the things you could have shown,
big green mountain.
Then start drawing, and a stable diffusion image generation model right on the device starts to generate an image based on your sketch.
Yes, that's very good.
There's local live translation too. It can translate live.
yeah, because like one of these, like stuff like this is really cool, but like for most people it would be a gimmick. This is the type of stuff you look at and say, oh, that's pretty neat. Anyway, and then you move on. The actually searching your computer thing, that's why I'm like,
Video calls or in-person conversations from 44 different languages into English. And it's fast.
У вас есть домашнее животное?
Is that Russian? I'm pretty sure it's Russian.
А как зовут вашу собаку?
It is.
Browser.
All of this is powered by small language models that are stored on the device. Large language models like ChatGPT or Copilot still run in the cloud. In the coming weeks, Copilot will get OpenAI's latest GPT-4o model.
It's kind of like a new browser, effectively. So it's right there, it sees the screen, it sees the world, it hears you, and so it's kind of like that personal agent that's always there that you want to talk to, you can interrupt it, it can interrupt you.
The new Surfaces will start shipping in June, starting at $9.99. But I had a few more questions about the future.
AI.
I'm surprised they haven't talked about, because apparently they're incorporating the whole like GPT thingy with like you could ask things not just about like what did it see, but also how to interact with certain things, right? Because the problem with a lot of this stuff now is like technically you could do it, right? Like technically if you could take a screenshot of your computer, put it on Reddit, ask a question like, look at this piece of code, I don't know why it's broken, why does it not work? And then like 5 minutes later, someone on Reddit would very kindly answer your question. But this is being baked in, as far as I know, with this new whole thing. It just looks at your screen, you can ask it a question that you don't understand, it would fix it. And I think stuff like that, like most people probably don't grasp how impactful it's going to be. I think this is the way we're going, and I think it's going to be really, really good.
AI is this new type of way
as long
of
as it's
interacting
safe
with computers. Yet here you're releasing a pretty traditional looking type of computer.
You know, think about what we did back in the day when the internet happened. It sort of like the browser was born on Windows, and it went beyond Windows. That's, I think, what's going to happen. That's why I think we want to make sure we build the Copilot Plus PC that's optimized for Copilot. But I fully expect the Copilot to be everywhere. And the innovation of the interface of your personal agent, how I interact with it, how it accesses memories, how it does actions, is going to be everywhere. It's going to be ambient.
Where else could it go?
It'll go on the phone, right? I'll use it on WhatsApp. I'll use it on any other messaging platform.
Imagine a Siri that actually works. Wouldn't that be good? You just ask your phone to set a reminder, set an alarm, and it actually does it. Without it saying, sorry, I can't do that right now, for some reason.
It'll be on speakers everywhere. So in some sense, it'll be anywhere users want to interact with it with different modalities, right? If you take what GPT-0 showed and you combine it with Copilot as the interface, For us, that's the type of magic that we want to bring first to Windows and everywhere else.
What do you think about glasses?
Well, we loved glasses for a long time. In fact, one of the things that we will do.
Very cheeky. I think putting it in a small pair of glasses, like if you could buy glasses of this size that are continuously run with like a small AI model inside, and they can like translate stuff, they can immediately see stuff, you can ask what is this, like how much does this cost, stuff like that. If you could immediately run this stuff, that's the sort of stuff that would literally be revolutionary in a single day. If you could actually augment reality in front of you, first of all, do I want to say this? Advertising would pop off big time. Imagine no longer needing physical billboards. Can you imagine the return on investment there? Remember back in the day when we had big billboards, and then those big billboards were replaced by very, very big screens. Can you imagine if you no longer even need a screen? Now that would be pretty nice. But yeah, like if they could put it in glasses, that's when I think things would get really, really spicy.
With Meta is to take Copilot.
I just need a HUD. I need a constant HUD in my life. I just glance up, it tells me the time, it shows me messages, it shows me everything, just in my face. I want this.
And really bring it to all of the work that they're doing.
Can we close our eyes together? And we're gonna imagine a future of computing. What is the future that you see?
The future I see is a computer that understands me versus a computer that I have to understand.
Okay.
Pretty based. Because this is like I think the president of NVIDIA was talking about this, right? That like he envisions the future of programming to be done entirely in natural language. So instead of like C++, Python, whatever else, it's literally just you typing what you want. And I think that's sort of what he means. A computer that understands you, not a computer that you must understand. I think that's a good motto to go for.
Does it look like this?
It reminds me of XP.
This is what it turned it into.
Oh, wow.
Could this be the wallpaper of the future PC?
It definitely can be, and you have the power to do it, Joanna. You can set your wallpaper on Windows.
Well, I want to leave this with you, and maybe you can make this the default in Windows 12.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, you should click here and watch my full interview with Satya Nadella on WSJ.com. It's a good one.
Yeah, so clearly, I think I don't want to make up my mind yet, you know. A multi-trillion-dollar company invested in getting my data. You know, there's still a lot of sketchy business that could happen, but considering that he's saying it's going to run locally, I see no problem with this. Like, if you don't trust this, then you shouldn't trust NVIDIA Shadowplay, because that's what it's doing. It's recording like the last 5 minutes. You could record, it basically rolls 5 minutes continuously, and you could always click like save, and then it's going to save last 5 minutes, right? You shouldn't trust any search engines, you shouldn't trust like anything. People are probably going to have a double standard for this because it feels like the internet is like very AI bad now. But generally, I think this is very good. Because this stuff right here, if I could, like I said, if I could plug this into my PC right now, just searching everything on my PC, based on just a basic description, I wonder if it can do music and scripts and stuff as well. Because when I have to go through like 30 scripts to find a specific phrase I said, or something like that, that's when it gets also really, really bad. So, if this can do it locally and just literally run through your entire PC, I'm on board. This would be great. Give it to me. I presume if it's launching in June for their PCs, it's probably going to just come to all PCs. The only problem is I really don't want to move to Windows 11 because it's apparently slow. I don't want to go to 11. I'm still on 10, and I love 10. It's a good interview, though. I'm glad that he's talking about glasses. Very, very glad. Apparently, a pair of glasses was delayed, I think, from Samsung or something. Someone has delayed their smart glasses. I don't remember who it was. Because I think Meta is also presenting some sort of smart glasses this year. Based on all the scoops. We'll see. I'll link it real quick. I definitely think, like, based on what we heard, I think people are overreacting with the whole privacy thing. There is a chance that there is a privacy issue. I don't think it's, like, a big deal. As long as it's made clear. It's probably going to be on by default and there's going to be a problem. AI servers are expensive too. Those ChatGPT and other are costing a lot. Well, yeah, right? And that's sort of why they want to run them locally. That's like the biggest thing. Because the biggest thing now, I mean, all of them are burning money. Because the thing with AI is, right now the belief with AI is that whoever reaches like AGI first, so artificial general intelligence, it's not a game of who wins, it's a game for everything. And that's why all these companies are literally burning money actively, however much they can. The only goal is to get to that general intelligence that will just literally wipe out the labor market. That's why they're doing this. That's the end goal. They're not doing this for some great higher reason. Assuming that like consciousness can be replicated in an artificial sense, obviously they're going to burn trillions of dollars because they're potentially going to make like 10 more, you know? This whole AI stuff has been very interesting to watch develop. I don't think we've seen the worst of it, by the way. I think it's going to get... I've been saying this for a long time, and thus far I've been proven right every single time. I think it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better. Like, the stuff we saw with the writer's strike was already a big thing. The fact that they resolved it, and literally a couple months later, it was like, well, yeah, now we're going to be able to use it. Right? And stuff like that. I think we're going to see a lot of this. I think the biggest thing with AI currently is actually making it for like, the average consumer. Because unless you really know what you're going to use it for, I don't think for like most people it has any tangible benefit. And that's why I think it was really, really good that they showed off like the immediate translation features and everything else. Because that's like actual practical stuff that most people can apply to their own lives. Not some like, it can fix your code, right?